When I was 10 years old, my parents, one Friday night, they took me to my first concert. And it was for a band called the Res Band. And it was this tight little, I think it was a church or maybe an old church that they turned into this like a venue for bands. And I'll never forget, my parents kind of like got us up pretty close. And the lead singer was this guy by the name of Glenn Kaiser. And the other lead singer was his wife, Wendy Kaiser. It was awesome. It was so loud, the music, the lights, everything was happening. And then something crazy happened. At the very end of the night, everybody's super quiet. And Glenn just starts to share his story with everybody, how he met God, what Jesus has done for him in his life. And then I looked around and I can remember being 10 years old thinking, all of these people are listening to him so intently. This is so powerful. And so I got home that night and I can remember thinking, that's what I want to do the rest of my life. I want to talk to people. I want to speak to them. I want to stand in front of them and tell stories and help them create a better life. And so from there, I actually went the next day and I got all the lumber I could from my dad's garage and I built a little stage in my parents' basement. And then I got my mom to make her famous homemade chocolate chip cookies. And then I went out to my friends, Joey and Luke and all the guys in the neighborhood, and I bribed them with these homemade chocolate chip cookies to come down to my homemade stage where I set up these chairs, and then I would speak to them. And if they listened, then I would give them chocolate chip cookies. And so I would tell them stories, I'd tell them jokes, I would ask them to respond and raise their hand. And I can remember being 10 years old, 11 years old, just loving standing in front of a stage. And so I just wanted to share that story with you because it's so powerful sometimes when you remember those stories. On Christmas morning this year, I opened up this present and my parents made me a pillow. I can't even believe they still have it from the t-shirt that they bought me that night. I mean, look at this. Res Band. It's on the back. They've got the Hostage Tour 84, 85. I mean, can you believe they still had this? I mean, you want to talk about the power of story and you want to talk about being transported back into time in an instant. That's why stories are so important. So I tell you this whole long story to say this. Cherish your stories. Cherish the things that you are gifted at and do them with absolutely everything you possibly can. All these years later, I never would have imagined that I'd have been able to stand on more than 500 stages professionally and speak to more than 200,000 people all of these years. Do everything you can to cherish your stories and do the things that you love.